Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala rasulihi al-Kareem amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. Inshallah, in today's episode, we will be discussing a few sections from the famous poem of Allama Iqbal rahimahullah titled Shikwa. This section begins by Allama Iqbal rahimahullah saying, Di adane kabhi Europe ke kalisaon mein, kabhi Afrika ke tapte hue sahraon mein, shan aankhon mein najajti thi jahandaron ki, kalma padhte the hum chhaon mein talwaron ki, थी ना कुछ तेग ज़नी अपनी हुकूमत के लिए, सर बकफ फिरते थे क्या हम दौलत के लिए, तुझसे सरकश हुआ कोई तो बिगड़ जाते थे, तेग क्या चीज़ है हम तोप से लड़ जाते थे, नक्श तौहीद का हर दिल पे बिठाया हमने, ज़ेर खंजर भी ये पैगाम सुनाया हमने।
إذا ما قال لي ربي أما استحييت تعصيني وتخفي الذنب عن خلقي وبالعصيان تأتيني فكيف أجيب يا ويحي ومن ذا سوف يحميني أسلي النفس بالآمال من حين إلى حين.
Shikwa is one of the most famous poems of Allama Iqbal rahimahullah. It is very meaningful, powerful, and extremely lengthy at the same time. It has about 31 separate bunds and sections. This poem in its entirety has a very unique overarching theme, but within this poem, each section has its own unique themes. And inshallah, we will dedicate one separate episode to discuss the overarching themes of Shikwa. But in today's episode, we will focus on the sections from 6 through 8, in which Allama Iqbal rahimahullah analyzes the lives of the greatest people to ever walk on the face of the earth after the Prophets ﷺ. And they were none other than the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. What made them so great? What made them so effective? What made them reach the status that Allah is talking about them and saying, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an, that Allah is pleased with them and they're pleased with Allah while they were living? So Allama Iqbal rahimahullah highlights their qualities. And he begins by saying, Di adane kabhi Europe ke kalisaon mein, kabhi Afrika ke tapte hue sahraon mein. That these were people that sometimes they were giving da'wah, calling towards Allah in Europe, in the churches of Europe. And sometimes they were calling towards Allah in the scorching sands of Africa. This word adane, it's the dua that we read after hearing the adhan is Allahumma rabba hadi da'wat al-tamma. That, oh Allah, this is a complete da'wah. So poets, when they use the word adhan, this usually means this da'wah, this invitation towards Allah. And he says, these were people that heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, أَلَا فَلْيُبَلِّغُ الشَّاهِدْ مِنْكُمَ الْغَائِبِ. The one who is here and listen to my talk, listen to my da'wah, it is your responsibility to take this kalima to the four corners of the world and to spread it to every nook and corner of the world. It is the Sahaba understood, he's mentioning about their quality, that they were the best nation because they were sent for the benefit of mankind. كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. They knew and understood that the responsibility of calling towards Allah was on the shoulder of all the prophets, and there was no prophet to come after Rasulullah. So they took this responsibility on their shoulders, and they carried this, and they traveled through Africa. You look to Europe, and Sahaba reached Europe. You look to Africa, Sahaba reached Africa. You look towards Asia, the Sahaba reached Asia. Every corner of the world, the Sahaba were there. Uqba bin Nafi', he leaves Hijaz. He goes through the scorching sands of Africa. Finally, he reaches Morocco. And then he reaches the coast of Morocco. He sees the Atlantic Ocean in front of him, and he puts the feet of his horse in the Atlantic Ocean. And he says, oh Allah, whoever I seen, wherever I could go, I called them towards you. And today, this ocean is a barrier between me. I don't know if anybody lives across this ocean. Had I known that there was even one person living across this ocean, oh Allah, you know, I would have put my horse on this ocean and traveled to him to give him da'wah and call him towards you. This was their passion. They didn't have any passion for their own progress, to get more dunya. How Mughira bin Shu'bah, he says, Inna laysa talibuna wa hammuna dunya wa innama hammuna wa talibuna al-akhirah. We have no inclination towards the glitter and the glamour of dunya. Our inclination and our motive is to get the pleasure of Allah and to get akhirah. So they left, and we look around the world today. We look in China, and we see that Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas' graves in China. We look towards Jazair, Algeria, we see Uqba bin Nafi' resting over there. We look towards Tunisia, we see Abu Lubaba radiallahu anhu resting over there. We look towards Africa, we see Abdullah bin Abbas and Ubaidullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu resting over there. We look towards Turkey, we see the great Sahabi Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu resting over there. We look towards Jordan, we see Abdullah bin Rawaha radiallahu anhu resting over there. We look towards Sham, we see Mu'adh bin Jabal radiallahu anhu resting over there. Every place in the world, brothers and sisters, the Sahaba left that same city. That same city that all of us make dua and yearn that inshallah our death will come in Madinah Munawwara. We make dua, oh Allah, give me death in Medina. They left that city. They left the companionship of the Prophet ﷺ. They left the blessed city of Makkah for what? Allama Iqbal is highlighting this in the next part of his poem. He says, Shan aankhon mein najachti thi jahandaron ki, कलमा पढ़ते थे हम छाँव में तलवारों की, थी न कुछ तेग ज़नी अपनी हुकूमत के लिए, सर बकफ फिरते थे क्या दहर में दौलत के लिए. He says, the Sahaba are saying that do you think we left the blessed city of Medina or the blessed city of Mecca or the companionship of the Prophet ﷺ or Abu Bakr and Umar to attain dunya? To attain power? To attain status? Absolutely not. We only left to call people towards Allah, to connect the makhluk to Khaliq, to connect the creation of Allah towards their Khaliq. And this is highlighted in the story of Rabi ibn Amr. When Rustam, the second in charge, he tells Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas anhu that send me somebody from your people that I could speak to, engage. Why are you here for? So Rabi ibn Amr was sent. Rabi ibn Amr anhu was a very humble, simple Sahabi. He was an Abyssinian slave all his life until he accepted Islam. And once he accepted Islam, he was emancipated. And Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas anhu, he sends Rabi ibn Amr. Rustam, in preparation for his arrival, he prepares his castle, and every single pillar was decorated with gold and silver. The most expensive carpets were laid out for him. Soldiers were told to stand on the right and left of this carpet with their swords hanging out like this. And now all of this was done to strike an awe and fear and to impress this man that look how much dunya we have, look how much we have, to impress this person. Little did they know that beyond this dark skin of his and that khaki clothes that he was wearing, he was only impressed with the kalima La ilaha illallah, and he was not impressed with any other system of the world. When they saw him coming on his mule, they started laughing seeing this person riding a mule, wearing two simple cloths, with his sword hanging down his neck. They laughed at him. And he came and he sat down next to Rustam. Rustam asks him, Ma alladhi ja'a bikum? What brings you here? Do you want a status? You want a position in a government? What brings you here? And Rabi ibn Amr, this is what Allah Iqbal is highlighting over here. That kalma padhte the hum chhaaw mein talwaron ki. As he was coming in the palace, he was reciting La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. That there's nothing that is worthy of being, there's none worthy of worship. There's none worthy of our ibadah. There's none worthy of our dua except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ilaha illallah. Jo la kaha, wo la huwa, juz la huwa, kul la huwa, phir kya huwa, Allah huwa. That everything else is nothing, Allah is everything. They had this in their heart. And now he's coming in. He sits down. He said, what brings you here? He says, Inna Allah abta'asana. Inna Allah abta'athana. That Allah sent us here. Why did Allah send you here? Why did He send you? For what purpose? لنخرج العباد من عباد العباد إلى عباد رب العباد ونخرجهم من ضيق الدنيا إلى سعة الآخرة ونخرجهم من جور الأديان إلى عدل الإسلام. We have been sent by Allah to this world to take man out of the servitude of man into the servitude of the creator of man, who is Allah. To take mankind out of the unjust systems of this world, the cruel systems of this world, towards the just and compassionate system of Islam. To take them out of the tight confinement of dunya towards the vast expansion of akhirah. This is our responsibility. This is why we have come here for. And Allama Iqbal is highlighting that these people never left for dunya. They never left for any status, but the only reason why they left was for the salvation of mankind. And for this, they sacrificed their families, they sacrificed the comfort of their homes, they sacrificed everything. And they didn't want anything in return for this. When Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas was sitting there, and he sees a man walking in the room, veiled, and he comes with a crown of Caesars, and a sack full of jewels and pearls, and this jewelry and the crown is, you cannot even quantify how expensive these jewels and the crown was. He brings it and he throws it in front of Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas is shocked. seeing that a person covered brings such expensive, and he says to him, listen, "Oh Amir, you can put this in Baytul Mal and use this for the poor Muslims." So Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas asks, "What's your name?" So he turns around, goes towards the door, then he looks up towards the sky, and he says, "Oh Amir, oh Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, the one I did it for, he knows my name very well. I don't need to tell anybody else my name." They did it for the sake of Allah and nothing else. No fame, no gain, no money, no honorarium, nothing. Only for the sake of Allah. So he's saying this is what they were. This is the second quality that he highlights over here. Then how long did they do this for? Naqsh tawheed ka har dil pe bithaya humne, zere khanjar bhi ye pagham sunaya humne. So these were people that they could have stopped and just relaxed after the Prophet said, every Badri is Jannati. Yes, they were done. And Uhud, they were with the Prophet. And Hudaybiyah, they were with the Prophet. They were with the Prophet in Fatih Makkah. But they didn't stop till their last breath. They lived by this ayah. وَعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيكَ الْيَقِينَ. That worship your Lord till your last breath. These Sahaba, they continued calling towards Allah till their last breath. Khubayb, who is being taken to the place where he's going to be hung. And when he's standing in front of, and he's staring death in his eyes, and people present him with, they said, just accept it, just leave Islam. He says in a beautiful poem, he says, وَقَدْ خَيَّرُونِ الْكُفْرَ وَالْمَوْتُ دُونَهُ وَقَدْ هَمَلَتْ عَيْنَايَ مِنْ غَيْرِ مَجْزَعِي. That these people presented me with kufr, to leave you, O Allah, and my eyes are crying today. But wallahi al-azim, I would prefer death over leaving your servitude even for 1 second. فَلَسْتُ أُبَالِي حِينَ أُقْتَلُ مُسْلِمًا عَلَى أَيِّ شِقٍ كَانَ اللَّهِ مُصْرَعِي. I don't care where I die, how I die, in which manner I'm killed, as long as I die in a way that you're happy with me and you're pleased with me. I don't care about anything else. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Allama Iqbal rahimahullah highlights these beautiful qualities of the Sahaba, that they understood that they were the ambassadors of deen, they were the Khalifa of Allah in this world. And their responsibility was what? They asked, one Sahabi asked the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, uridu an akuna khairan nas. I want to be the best of all people. And the Prophet says to him, kun nafi'an nas takun khairan nas. Be the one that benefits mankind the most, you be the best person. So they had in their heart that they had this motivation in their heart to benefit people. One benefit is to give someone rizq and nourishment. That's good. But the other benefit is to connect them to Razzaq. One is to give someone rizq, and the other is to connect them to Razzaq. One is to give someone nusra, meaning help, and one is to connect them to Nasr. One is to give someone hifadha, and one is to connect, which means protection, and one is to connect them to Hafiz, who is Allah. Brothers and sisters, we all know that it is more effective if a person is connected to Razzaq, Nasr, and Hafiz, and Rahman, and Rahim. Because when Allah is with you, He will take care of all your needs. And they understood this, and for this, they even left the blessed city of Madinatul Munawwara, that same city. But when we go for Hajj and Umrah, the most difficult part and emotional part of this whole trip for many of us is leaving the city of Madinah Munawwara. When we're leaving, how one poet says, Sham ko bishams bhi rota hua dalta hoga. That at night time when the sun is setting, he says, I can guarantee when the sun sets at night from Madinah Munawwara, it also cries weeping, saying that I'm not going to see the city of Medina until the next day. When we leave the city of Medina, we're all crying and emotional. Just imagine our love compared to the love of Sahaba, and they left. They left the city of Medina. أُرِيدُ وِصَالَهُ وَيُرِيدُ هَجْرِي فَأَتْرُكُ مَا أُرِيدُ لِمَا يُرِيدُ. I wanted to stay there. I wanted to be with him. But he's telling me, oh Mu'adh, leave. So I leave. And I listened, I sacrificed my desire for his instruction. So brothers and sisters in Islam, we have to get out of our comfort zones. And the first thing we have to do is understand that our responsibility as an ummah is to benefit others. There are Muslims that need our help. There are non-Muslims that are waiting. People are depressed, stressed. They're looking for contentment and happiness, but there's nobody to go to them. There are Muslims who are almost leaving the fold of Islam, but there's no one to go to them. So the first thing you have to do is understand that the first quality the Sahaba had is that they took this upon their shoulders, and they went to every corner of the world spreading Islam and spreading the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Second thing is, in this pursuit, in this effort, they were not affected by the glitter and glamour of this world. It didn't change them. They never did it for that. For us, it shouldn't matter how much Facebook likes we have. We could have 2 million Facebook likes. We could have the most YouTube followers and viewers. We could have the most Twitter followers. But the only thing that matters is if Allah likes us. It doesn't matter if we have 2 million likes on Facebook. Does Allah like us? We're not doing it for that. We're doing it only for the sake of Allah. And that's what's missing in the fabric of the Ummah today. That whatever we're doing for the sake of Allah, for the benefit of mankind. Allah accepts, nobody knows about me, it's no problem. That majhulun fil ardu ma'rufun fis sama. I'm unknown in this world, but I'm known in the skies. This was the sentiment of the Sahaba. And finally, brothers and sisters in Islam, we do it till our last breath. We leave a great legacy behind. That how will we be remembered? That if a poet was to come 500 years later, and he was to characterize and highlight our qualities, we should leave something for him, that we should be remembered that we came to this country. Yes, we're engineers and doctors and university students, but at the same time we have not forgotten our principal responsibility that we are Allah's representatives in this world. We live by example. When people looked at towards the Sahaba and they gave them da'wah, it was so easy when they asked them, how should we become? They said, Kunu mithlana, just become like us. It didn't require too much. We make our life better, and we understand that our principal purpose of being here is to spread the deen of Allah like the Sahaba, not to get impressed by dunya, only to try to impress Allah. Then we will see that Allah will use us for the spreading of the deen throughout the whole world, especially in the West, that when a poet comes 500 years later and he highlights about us, he will talk that these are people that came to this country. They faced all the challenges. They prayed salat in the freezing cold of winter. People watched them, people made fun of them, but they still did it, and they paved the way for us today. And they pay tribute to us. And when they mention our names, they say, Rahimahullah, after our names. This should be our greatest motivation, brothers and sisters in Islam. Not that when they come 500 years later, that mashallah, they built masjids, but then they were the same people that brought politics in masjids, that divided people based on race and color, that divided people based on status. And we should not leave these legacies behind. Shaitan will try his best to taint what we did. Mashallah, we came to this country, we built masjids, but now in these same masajid all across America, there are rifts and there are malices, and there's people's hearts are not connected. Let's unite again. For the sake of Allah, for the sake of Allah, for the sake of Allah. May Allah make it easy for us, to make us among those who are keys to open the treasure of deen. فَطُوبَى لِعَبْدٍ جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ مِفْتَاحًا لِلْخَيْرِ مِغْلَاقًا لِلشَّرِّ. The Sahaba were used, Allah used them, utilized them as keys to open the treasure of deen. The Prophet said there will be people that will come at the end of my ummah, they will get the same reward as a Sahaba. And when he was asked how, he said they will do the same effort that my Sahaba made. They went to the corners of the world and they spread Islam. Allah make us among those who truly live Islam and call people towards Islam, who are examples of the Sahaba living in this country in the West today, that when people look at us, they are reminded of the lives of Sahaba. Allah accept all of our efforts. All of us who are making effort of da'wah, khatibs, youth directors, Allah rectify our intentions and make us among those who stand shoulder to shoulder with the Sahaba. Wallahu ajma'in on the day of judgment. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah bil alamin.